Yo, what's poppin' everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Zach Lesage here. Today we're going to be covering over Dark Toolbox, one of the new decks that we're getting from Shrouded Fable for the 2024 World Championships. Now this isn't just like adding Dusknoir to Charizard, which I've covered previously on the channel. This is a completely brand new archetype. Okidogi EX, Pecharunt EX, Munkidori EX, Janine Secret Technique. There's a lot of stuff going on here. So hopefully in this video I'm able to showcase what this deck list kind of looks like. It's still pretty early. The strategy, some ideas, and more. I want to dive in depth into this deck as much as possible. It's not out on PTCG Live yet. Still give it another couple months or so. But right now I do want to kind of showcase what it is. Give this video a like, and let's jump into the deck list. Here's what we got going on for Dark Toolbox. Now, this is a list that I have that I've created based off some lists that I saw in Pokébook, a Japanese website that compiles information from some Japanese tournaments. They have gym battle tournaments going on right now in Japan. Gym battle tournaments are very similar to league challenges, and this deck's done okay at some of them. I'm not saying that this is necessarily going to be the absolute best deck in format or anything. That's the furthest thing that I want to necessarily, like, I think it's an interesting concept that's coming out, and I really want to kind of showcase some of these decks in case they do end up becoming a little bit more or a little bit of something. Now, this deck is going to revolve around being a poisoned deck. So Okidogi EX giving us some extra damage if we are poisoned, doing 130 plus 130, and then the 10 from poisoned. And you also have access to the Binding Mochi. That gives you the extra 40 damage, so that brings you to 270 to 310. How we're getting to that extra damage to knock out some big Pokemon like Charizard EX, Dragonite, or Dragapult EX, sorry, is Munkidori, or we can use Perilous Jungle. A lot of these trainer names are really gonna Perilous. Whatever it is, we're trying to make sure that we can kind of get through that. So that adds plus 20, or Munkidori adds additional damage. There's also a Hisuian Radiant Sneasler that could be good, but I think drawing cards with Radiant Greninja might be a little bit better. We have ways to accelerate energies with Janine Secret Technique, Dark Patch, and this deck should be off to the races. We have ways to poison ourselves with Pecharunt EX or with Brute Bonnet. And of course, we can make some of the magic happen with Secret Box. Personally, my favorite A-Spec right now, and one of the more undervalued cards that we have in the formats. I will be breaking this deck down kind of piece by piece, diving a little bit more into strategy and what these numbers might mean. The list is available for copy and paste in the description if you have access to PTCG Sim, Limitless My Decks, anything like that. So check that out if you're there. It's just not available on PTCG Live. Let's jump into this strategy. Kicking off this list, we got the Okidogi EX, and this is kind of going to be the star of the show. So it's Poison Muscle Attack, which is its first attack. You can search your deck for 2 basic darkness energies, attach them to this Pokemon, and if you do, you're now poisoned. It's interesting. It gives us a way, if we kind of have a rough turn 1, we can accelerate energy to our Okidogi, and we're ready for turn 2. The poison damage might kick in and be a little bit weird to deal with, but we do have 250 HP. If we look at some decks that saw success at NEIC, like Miraidon capping out at 220 HP, or even Raging Bolt capping out at 240 HP, we already have 10 more HP than those decks, so the poison's not going to really matter too much. We're not trying to tank hits, we're just trying to be faster than the next deck in line. Its main attack is Crazy Chain, Dark Colorless, 130 plus 130. And if you're already poisoned, that's how you're doing the extra 130. So 260 plus the poison, if we're able to poison our opponent's active Pokemon. Now, the way that we're able to poison our opponent's active Pokemon is going to be with Brute Bonnet. Brute Bonnet has its Toxic Powder ability, which if you have an Ancient Booster Energy Capsule attached, you may make both active Pokemon poisoned. So giving you that plus 10, activating Crazy Chain, and we don't necessarily need to rely on Pecharunt EX's Chain of Command to make you poisoned. It's still going to be helpful. It says you can use this ability once through your turn. You can't use more than one chain of control, Chain of Command, control, whatever it's called, ability per turn. You can switch one of your bench dark Pokemon, except any Pecharunt EX, with your active Pokemon. That Pokemon's poison. So we have a few ways to activate the poison and really start getting to that Crazy Chain extra damage. And just doing 260, regardless of the poison damage, if you don't get the Brute Bonnet off, is going to be huge. So we're doing 260. 10 if we get the poison, and we have a way to switch kind of back and forth. Pecharunt EX is not a bad attacker either, giving yourself 60 times for each prize card your opponent's taken. So if your opponent has taken 5 prize cards, 6 times 5 is 300. Maybe we have ways to make ourselves poisoned. Maybe we have ways to do extra damage. Could be interesting. Now, we have Binding Mochi. If the Pokemon this card's to attach to is poisoned, it attacks you 40 damage more to your opponent's active Pokemon, giving us the opportunity to do 260 plus 40 damage, 300 damage, and 10 if they're poisoned. And if they're extra poisoned, like if they are poisoned, we can combo that with Perilous Jungle to do an additional 20 damage poison for your non-darkness Pokemon. So we could get up to Charizard numbers that way on each poison non-dark Pokemon. We can't do a Charizard 330 damage with that, but we could do Munkidori, take some damage off of our Pokemon, move it onto our opponent's Charizard, and really get to that number. Kieran is another way that I was thinking about getting to this kind of 330-ish number, but if you're knocking out your opponent's Charizard with the Munkidori, and you're getting to a point where you're knocking out their Pidgeot EX, their Rotom, their Fezandipiti, we certainly have a lot of really cool ways to kind of deal with that. So some really strong attacking power, and you can knock out a Dragonite in one complete go. We are ready to go when it comes down to it. And again, if we do find out that we need to cut the Radiant Greninja that can draw us cards, get Darkness Energy in the discard pile, so that we could use Dark Patch and other combo cards, maybe we replace it with the Radiant Hisuian Sneasler. And Radiant Hisuian Sneasler really gives you a lot of options to do an extra 2 damage counter. So it's like Perilous Jungle, except it's not necessarily causing your opponent, like, they can be extra poison if they're dark type. So maybe we need Radiant Hisuian Sneasler in the deck. Regardless, we will continue on. It's an early deck list, don't follow me. Munkidori EX gives us, it looks like a 2-prizer, but it's a single prize card Pokemon. If you have Pecharunt EX in play and this Pokemon is knocked out by damage from an attack from your opponent's Pokemon, your opponent takes 1 fewer prize card. So we technically have a Pokemon that's 210 HP, single prize card Pokemon if we have Pecharunt in play, which we should have Pecharunt in play. And we do 190 damage, which is a decent chip damage, or knocking out something like a Lumineon or Rotom. We have ways to poison ourselves, do extra damage with Binding Mochi. We can really take a hit and put ourselves in a very good position where we have a Munkidori and it's just ready to go. We also have the Fezandipiti EX, which is going to really just give us an opportunity to draw some extra cards if we need to. There's also the Cruel Arrow attack. We can power that pretty quickly and just snipe 100 damage to one of our opponent's Pokemon, giving us a decent win con if our opponent has a 2-prizer in the active, and we can snipe something on bench and there's no mana fee. Darkrai VSTAR kind of plays in here really nicely because we can put a bunch of darkness energies in play to use the Dark Pulse attack, really scale up our damage because we have that Janine's secret technique that can accelerate energy to our darkness Pokemon, maybe making them poisoned, and really giving us answers to Dark Pulse. We also get an VSTAR ability in the form of using Star Abyss, so we can search for 2 item cards from our discard pile, put them into our hand, really getting us some things like Secret Box again. We can get back a Vacuum, a Night Stretcher, a Super Rod, like whatever you really need. I could see this working better with Prime Catcher. It's something that I want to consider adding into this deck just with the Darkrai VSTAR, to be considered. Brute Bonnet, again, really just laying that poison out with Ancient Booster Energy Capsule, allowing us to poison our opponent's active Pokemon. We can maybe play in between turns so that it doesn't activate our opponent getting knocked out during their last turn, or we can just increase the damage output that they have going on. Munkidori, with all this poison damage that we're dealing with, we're probably going to take some damage that we can move off with Munkidori, really giving ourselves some opportunities to add some extra damage counters to our opponent's Pokemon. It's not going to be hard to plop down and slap in a Dark Energy. I mean, Gardevoir is already playing this card, and they don't play Dark Energy traditionally, right? We are a Darkness Energy deck, making it really easy for us to meet the requirements of the Munkidori. And Radiant Greninja just drawing cards is going to be fantastic. Janine's is going to make this all pulled together by us getting all of our energies on our Pokemon wherever we want, and between an energy attachment from our hand, a Dark Patch, and an energy from Janine's, we could power up pretty much any of our Pokemon ready to go at any given point. We have quite a few boss's orders because we just want to be bringing up our opponent's Pokemon however we want. I could see ourselves cutting up boss's orders for a counter catcher just so that we could probably get it back with Darkrai VSTAR, pitch it, get it back, and kind of utilize it at some point. A Research and an Iono are really there just for the extra support. And another card that I really like here is going to be Night Stretcher. You can put a Pokemon or a basic energy card from your discard pile into your hand. So I have 2 copies of these so we can get our energies back whenever we want. We can get back Radiant Greninja, any of our Pokemon. It's like Super Rod, except it's immediate, but we only get 1 of them. I think it's going to be one of the more interesting cards in the deck. Enough of the cards are just really just trying to support this deck. But like I did briefly mention, Secret Box does allow us to pitch cards from our hand, which could get Darkness Energy in our discard pile for Dark Patch. And we can search our deck for an item card like that Dark Patch. We can search for a stadium card like Perillia's Jungle. We can search our deck for a supporter card like Janine's Secret Technique. And we can search our deck for a tool card like the Binding Mochi, giving us some opportunities to come up with some explosive game plan. And we can do that twice per game with Darkrai VSTAR. And just really enough energies to tie the rest of it together. So we have a pretty interesting deck across the board here, filled with a lot of new cards. There's a lot of cards that we could add in here that I could go over, and feel free to let me know in the comments if there's any cards that you think are great, or maybe you do think I need the Radiant Hisuian Sneasler. But I think this is a really good build of the deck available in the comments, not the comments, the description of this video. So if you want to copy and paste it, try it out on Limitless Tabletop, or building it on the limitlesstcg.com deck builder, that'd be really cool too. But let me close things out. And that's what we got going on for this video today. Hopefully you learned a little bit about the new Dark archetype. I'm still on the fence on how good I think this deck is. I think that Munkidori turning itself into a single prize card Pokemon EX attacker that can hit for bare minimum 190 certainly seems good to me. It's a little bit scary when we look at the top decks being Charizard EX and Dragapult EX, 2 cards that I think would probably be pretty good against this deck, but maybe with the right build, the right techs, the right strategy, it will be able to overcome that. Shrouded Fable is certainly going to be one of the more interesting sets that we have before Worlds. So if you need any cards, check out Kayfabe Cards, check out PTCGL Store, and our other sponsors available in our description. I also started my own community Discord server that's available in the description there too. Join that, jump into any discussion, ask me any questions, or hit me up for some coaching on Metafy. I have some summer discounted prices, so check out my page there, available in the description, and of course any upcoming courses that I have going on. I really appreciate everyone who's tuned into this video and learn more about this. There's just so much stuff going on right now, so I hope that you continue to enjoy the content that we have on the squad, and I will catch up with you later on. Peace out and have a great one. Want to support the Shuffle Squad? Be sure to check out all of our sponsors in the description to pick up Pokemon TCG singles, sealed, and PTCG live codes. You made it to the end. Thank you so much for watching this entire video from the Shuffle Squad. Honestly, from the bottom of our hearts, we appreciate each and every person that supports our content, watches what we have going on every single day, every single week, even from time to time, and continuously allows us to have a forum to project our creative content towards the Pokemon TCG community. So if you haven't already, be sure to give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and even leave a comment to help boost the YouTube algorithm. That being said, we'll catch you with our next video. Thanks again. Take it easy.